The chapter begins with the mission officially starting. A large number of ships are seen in various locations, one along the coast of China, another near Taiwan, and the third near Jeju Island. A massive fleet is deployed to the north of Jeju Island, consisting of 2 Sejong the Great-class destroyers, 2 KDDX-class destroyers, 4 Chungmyeong-e Sun Sin-class destroyers, 1 Kong Gamcheon-class destroyer, and 12 frigates. The next scene shifts to Jongsoo, who tells his team that they need to brace themselves, as the ants may have been alerted and could come flying at any moment. Yoontae asks if Jongsoo believes their strategy will work against the ants. Jongsoo responds that they won't know unless they try, and their job as the defense team is to stand guard in case anything happens. They are specifically in charge of preventing flying ants from reaching the mainland. Yoontae, feeling confident, declares that he can always count on Jongsoo and jokingly adds that he will follow him to the ends of the earth. The other guild members can also be seen in the background. The scene then transitions to Fame Guild, where Dongwook is saying his goodbyes to the Vice Guild Master. He reminds her to watch their backs. The Vice Guild Master responds that there isn't really anything to keep an eye on because, despite being called the defense team, they are just the standby team with nothing to do for the day. Dongwook asks his Vice Guild Master to run some tactical drills for their members since they are all gathered on deck. The Vice Guild Master points out that, since her title as Vice Guild Master doesn't come with any real responsibility, it would be hard for her to lead drills. Dongwook thanks her for her excellent management skills, which have helped the guild grow, and reminds her that it was she who designed their guild symbol and made key decisions to expand their activities. Dongwook is grateful for all her hard work. The Vice Guild Master then responds that she's not entirely thrilled about Dongwook being sent out into the field, but she just wants to tell him to make sure he returns in one piece. With that, Dongwook bids farewell to his guild members. Meanwhile, Taegyu is on the phone, angrily speaking with someone about the deployment of Minsung to the southern part of the island. He insists that the ants might show up soon, and Minsung needs to be moved as far back as possible. Taegyu then angrily asks, do they have any idea how much Minsung is worth? But his contact on the phone responds that the troops are already deployed and cannot be recalled. Taegyu just tells them to stay safe and find cover. The scene then shifts to the Hunter Association's request for the deployment of hunters from each guild to the south of the island. Among them is the Knights Guild, including Minsung, who is surrounded by reporters. He thinks to himself that this could be a great opportunity to score some points by being in the spotlight. The hunters are stationed there because precautions had to be taken. Even if the raid were to succeed, there was still a possibility that the remaining ants would invade the mainland. Hunters from the Hunters Guild, including A-rank Hunter Sung Ki-hun, Lee Bora, Gina, and other guild members, are also stationed there. Squads were also stationed to defend the national territory, consisting of a B-rank leader, 3 C-ranks, and more than 10 D-ranks and E-ranks. The White Tiger Guild Strike Squad, including Hunter Park Hee-jin, Yoon Ki-jung, and Go Myung-hwan, can be seen assigned to this task. Some retired hunters have also joined the mission, including Lee Ju-hee and Mr. Song, along with those who had awakened but had previously chosen not to become hunters. In total, around 5,000 of these individuals, or 1/10 of the 50,000 awakened beings in South Korea, are joining the fight. The focus then shifts to the South Korean S-rank hunters on a helicopter en route to Mount Halasan. One of them introduces himself as a cameraman from a news agency that specializes in reporting on hunters. He mentions that his job is to film the hunters in action during the raid. He also tells them that the raid will be broadcast nationwide, though there will be a 10-minute delay before the footage airs, allowing the editing team to filter things out. Yoonho then shakes his hand. Yoonho and Dongwook have a brief conversation about the presence of a cameraman on such a dangerous mission. Yoonho is surprised by this, wondering what Chairman Go was thinking. Dongwook then says to the cameraman that a successful raid is one that has someone to protect, but he still needs to take care of himself. The cameraman then answers that there is no need to worry because, despite being a cameraman, he is still a hunter and holds an A-rank license. In South Korea, many awakened individuals choose to live normal lives and avoid raids, and the cameraman is one of them. The cameraman then shares that he has 2 professions and that this isn't his first time being sent to cover dangerous locations, as he was sent before to cover a few dungeon breaks. However, he isn't sure if he'll be as helpful this time as he was in the past, as his hands can be seen trembling in nervousness. Dongwook reassures him, saying that the Hunters Association probably allowed the cameraman to accompany them because they believe the fourth raid has a good chance of success. The cameraman thanks him for the reassurance, and Yoon-ho adds that it's good to hear him say that. Dongwook then says that this is the first and last time civilians will witness an S-rank raid. He also adds that they've failed several times before, so everyone is eager to watch them succeed this time. Yoon-ho stresses the importance of showing them a clean victory. In his mind, he thinks that, realistically speaking, if they fail, South Korea could be wiped off on the map. He adds that the world is in dire need of heroes. The scene shifts to Byung-gu, who is talking to Yoon-ho. Yoon-ho mentions that he never thought he would see Byung-gu join the raid. Byung-gu responds by saying he joined the raid because he felt that Yoon-ho might die if he didn't have healing support, especially since Yoon-ho tends to rush into battle whenever he sees a beast. This irks Yoon-ho, who humorously denies the accusation. The other hunters in the helicopter smile at their exchange. Haein then asks Yoon-ho if he has met Jinwoo before coming here. Yoon-ho responds that he has not, and when asked why, Haein hesitates before simply saying, "No reason." Dongwook breaks the silence by saying it looks like it's time to get down to business. As their helicopter approaches the island, Byung-gu's hands begin to tremble. The scene shifts to Goto Ryuji's group, who are on the main island. They realize they are walking through what used to be Jeju City, now eerily quiet like a ghost town. They notice the corpses of ants, seemingly cannibalized by other ants, suggesting a predator's presence. Ryuji begins the roll call for his team to start their mission. He speaks into his radio, saying, "Alpha speaking," followed by Tawada responding with, "Bravo, over," Fujishima with, "Charlie, over," and Izawa with, "Delta, over." Ryuji then orders them to open the floodgates. Immediately, they release powerful mana waves to lure the ants. The South Korean S-rank hunters in the helicopter, including Yoon-ho, watch in awe at the intensity of the mana waves. Jong-in comments that the Japanese hunters have already launched their operation. The next scene shows the ants emerging from the crater of Mount Halasan, with some engaging the South Korean hunters' helicopter. Jong-in can be seen standing at the helicopter's opening, announcing that he will handle the approaching ants. He uses his skill called Flame Spear, generating 3 spears made of fire and launching them at the approaching ants, causing explosions upon impact. Byung-gu is impressed by the display, but Jong-in humbly downplays it, stating that he expected this outcome since a small amount of firepower wouldn't be enough to defeat the ants. He warns his team to brace themselves for turbulence as he prepares to launch a massive fireball this time. With a powerful blast, the fire engulfs the ants. Jong-in notes that the ants have evolved significantly and are no longer the same as before. He says his fire attack would have sufficed in an A-rank dungeon, but the ants now have high resistance to magic, so he needs to use greater force. After that, Jong-in could be seen descending from the helicopter, riding on a fire blaze, and saying that he needed to gauge how strong the ants were. His companions were startled by his sudden descent from the helicopter. Dongwook, observing Jong-in as he got off, quickly asked Haein if he would be fine. Haein responded swiftly, he should be fine, especially since his fire magic specializes in fighting multiple opponents. Jong-in had finally descended onto the island, only to be immediately surrounded by the ants. In an instant, he unleashed a powerful burst of fire from his position, scorching all the ants around him. He then remarked that the last time he had played with ants was when he was a child, and he still remembered the faint snapping noises every time he torched them with his lighter. But now, he said, all he could hear were fireworks as the ants exploded one by one from the impact of his fire magic. Afterward, he looked up and told his companions that they could now come down. Dongwook hesitates, considering that, unlike their previous attempts, this time there are no escape routes, and they may get trapped in the ant tunnels. The next scene shows the South Korean S-rank hunters preparing to descend. Yoon-ho tells his team that the Japanese hunters can only stall for about an hour, so they need to defeat the queen within that time frame. Taegyu asks if anyone has something to say before they jump, but the response is simple. "We've got this in the bag. Let's go." With that, the S-rank hunters leap one by one from the helicopter, ready for the battle ahead.